Go into a bodyweight squat for me. Okay, and back up. We got a lot to work on. All right, go again. Hello, my name's Peter, and today we've got something different for you guys. So I've got my mum.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Vanessa. I have the honor of having this child as my offspring.
Yeah, she's been watching the videos and decided, well, it's never too late to get cracking, so she's gonna get into the gym, completely untrained.
Absolutely. I don't know if this is a great idea or not, but we're about to find out.
So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna go through all the compound movements with my mom. She's gonna be doing them. I'm gonna be basically doing a one-to-one personal training element to it. But first, because we're at North Norfolk Physio, and a big shout out to Fiona and North Norfolk Physio for allowing us access to the gym to do some filming and some testing. We've got a dynamometer, so that's something that not a lot of people have access to, but if you do, it can be quite a good tool just to track your progression. What it's going to measure is it's going to measure force in kilograms, and it's going to give it to you over the course of a 10-second isometric hold. We're going to test all functional movements, and yeah, we'll go from there. So brilliant, we'll catch you guys in the testing.
See you shortly.
Brilliant, so what we're gonna do some dynamometer testing. All of these are gonna be isometric, and we're gonna go in the mid-range because that's where we're strongest. So moment of truth, time to see how much the lifting dogs and cats get your legs strong. So yeah, Mom's a vet, so she spends her day lifting up dogs and cats. So let's see what we've got. So first of all, we're gonna test strength, right foot first, and we're gonna do knee extension in seated. So all I'm gonna ask you to do, I'm going to calibrate it, and when I say go, just try and straighten your leg as hard as you can. Now, obviously, you're not going to move the strap, but just pretend you want to kick me through the wall.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, so good. Right, so I'm going to push start. It's going to give a 3-second countdown into calibration, and go. So yeah, kick. Try not to lean back too much. Really straighten it. Oh. Right, so we've got our first test results, so let's see. What we're looking for is a roughly 10% difference right and left. So Mum's left-handed, so I expect the right's gonna be a bit weaker. So pop your foot out, pop the other foot in. Try get in the same, don't push too hard to start with, so just so there's tension, that's it. We're gonna go to the next side. All right, we definitely need to work on quads, the numbers were quite low. That's a shocker.
This is not a surprise.
All right. And go. Oh, it slipped. We'll redo that one, hang on, so relax. Don't twist your body, I'll move the thing. There we are. So take a little bit of tension off. There, so we'll redo that test. And go. Oh, not bad. Actually, no, quite bad. And relax. So, this side, left side, as expected, is a lot stronger, but way stronger than we thought. So we had a 17.97% deficit, and the blue line was an increase, so that was the right side and a quick dip off. I'll pop the screenshots up on screen for you guys to take a look at. Hi everyone, it's Pete coming to you from the editing room. Now, instead of boring you guys half to death with me trying to test every single joint of the lower limb, as I said, we're going to go into the upper limb in a different video, so stay tuned for that one. What we'll do, we'll go through the results. Now, as you can see, most of the tests are pretty good. The only bit in red is the strength difference in quads, and now we know my mom's got a right knee issue, probably a bit of wear and tear in the joints as well as some biomechanical knee pain, but the rest of them all seem okay. The only problem I can identify that I would like to get increased as a physio would be her overall strength, so we'd like to increase the strength on all those numbers, as well as rule out the imbalances from the knee extension, and we'll aim to do that over the next, I would say, 6 weeks. You'll see a good difference, and hopefully over the next 3 to 4 months we'll see a significant difference in overall strength. Right, so now that we've done the lower body testing, we know what we need to strengthen, so pretty much everything. Although your ratios weren't too bad, I've seen a lot worse. What we're going to do is start off with a squat movement. So I think as a new lifter, this is one of the fundamentals of lifting. If you don't have this down, use the leg press, but ideally we want to get onto the bar or onto dumbbells or onto a functional squat where you have to stabilize the movement. So no practice here. If you face the mirror so you can see yourself, take a step back and just go comfortable hip stance and just go into a bodyweight squat for me. Okay, and back up. We got a lot to work on. All right, go again. Whew, okay, right, we'll have a look from this side. I don't need to see much here. I've seen it all. Right, go back into the squat. Perfect. So this is something interesting. So her squats improved with every movement. So she's watching herself in the mirror and she's actually improving the squat mechanics with every movement. Because she hasn't done this before, it's going to be a foreign movement. So she's going to have to learn it. And I know I take the piss because that's just how we work. But what I think we need to do is get your hips stable and feet stable. Your feet were all over the place. Now there's a couple cues that we can use. The easiest one is the physio's favorite, a pink resistance band. So pop that around your mid thighs for me. And what I'd also like you to do is think about your hip width. So if you're perfectly symmetrical and you've got equal internal and external rotation at the hip, you can have perfect hip width, feet dead straight, and get into a lovely squat. That is very few people on this planet. So what I'd actually recommend is go slightly wider, not massively wider, just slightly wider. It's perfect, feet comfortable position, slightly turned out. Now, as you squat down, picture sitting back and almost driving your knees out to squat in between your hips. But before you go, hang on, back up. Before you go, try and screw your feet into the ground, so creating torque through the foot other way. So try and arch up, screw your feet into the ground like you tightening up, switching the glutes on. You get that movement, so you've created a nice arch at your foot, and as you squat, drive out with your legs, over-exaggerated slightly, and go again. Push out, that's better, and back up. So do a couple more for me. Is that band a bit too strong?
No.
Better. So now look at your feet and look how far forward your left foot is. So try and get that centered. Yeah, I don't mind if they're slightly rotated. So same thing, right? Lock it out, push out with the knees and squat down. Okay, so with barefoot shoes, so Mother's also in Vivo, shout out to Vivo. But with, I'll go this side so you guys can see me. With barefoot shoes, you don't have a heel raise. So what that's gonna require is a bit more ankle mobility. So what I'm seeing with my mom's squat is, as she's squatting, her feet are turning out, which is a telltale sign that there's two things going on. We're loading into knee over toe, which is perfect. We're supposed to be able to do that. But secondly, your ankle mobility is limiting there. So there's two things you can do for this situation. We've got the band, we've got the glutes switched on, which should free up the hips. The first thing is you can sit further back to limit the knee over toe movement. So almost that, like you would with a low bar squat. So sit further back. Good, but I'm still seeing the heels lift and rotating in. The next thing, we can grab Old Faithful. So let's try it on this wedge. So pop your heels up on the wedge. No, we'll walk onto the wedge. I'm not gonna slide the wedge under you. There we are. Set up normally again. Drive your hips out. So tension the band, squat back and sit back and back in. So watch that right hip's collapsing and you're collapsing into pronation there and back up, better. So this has already improved the biomechanics of this movement quite significantly. So go again for me, much better, and back up. So that's the squat. Obviously, there's no way in hell you're gonna get it right within the next week, even within the next 6 weeks. Things like this take time to master, understand that, but know on what you need to work on. So we know we need to get your glute medius firing a lot more, and we might need to work on some ankle mobility, although it didn't look too bad. You were just loading heavily forward, but that's also fine. Right, on to the next movement. Getting under the bar, that's something slightly different, and you've never done that before. So
Is it similar to getting onto a bar, like as in stool?
no, completely different. Blast! Right, your bar stool you'll be right with. This is completely different. So you don't need to do it perfectly, but bars have lines on them, they've got little rings, they've got markings. Mirror helps big time. I tend to use the inner markings, or if your bar has got a center marking, that can be quite helpful, putting it on your spine. This is really low for me, someone's a bit short. Didn't stand in enough manure growing up, didn't get tall enough. Right, so between there, line that up and use your shoulders as a gauge. So you want to get centered, and when you've got centered, look in the mirror before you get under it, line yourself up so there's no weight on it. And then basically, watch your head, just stand up. So that's the first step, and I want you to do that. Get under it, stand up, and then re-rack it. And when re-racking it, don't try and land it on this flat part of the rack. Walk it into the rack so it hits this rubber stopper, and then drop down. That'll stop you missing it.
Okay, how far apart must my hands be?
We'll get to that one next, so we're comfortable for now.
Okay. There.
So head under.
Back under.
That's it. Use these lines. So look in the mirror. Use these lines in the edges of your shoulder. Good. And just stand up. Whoa, nice. And breathe. Now walk forwards. Let it hit the bar. That's it. And lower it down. Nice, so you've got under the bar, you've lifted it up, and now you've put it down again. So almost there, we're halfway to a squat. Right, the next cue, so pop to the side for me. The next thing I want you to think about is when you go under the bar, I'd like you to almost try and get your elbows forward. So the biggest mistakes we see are elbows back like this, and then not engaging your lats. So when you're under the bar, what I'd like you to do is get that comfortable. This isn't too important at this point, but squeeze your shoulder blades together and then almost pull the bar into you with your hands by your side. So you're really locked in through your thoracic spine. It just creates a bit more stability. So give that a go for me. So line yourself up, line it up first, otherwise you'll be lopsided, especially when you start throwing weights on. Squeeze your shoulder blades back, perfect, stand up. And now what I'd like you to do is pull your elbows forward and pull the bar down into switching all of this on. Good, not too bad. Try and flick your hands forward a bit. That's better, you feel that?
Yeah.
The switching on. So that's perfect. And then re-rack it. So walk it forward, let it hit, and lower down. Perfect. Right, we're almost on the bar squat. So time for mother's first ever squat with a bar. So we're gonna do everything that we've practiced now. We know we need the help from the band and from the wedge, so they are gonna be there. When you move with the bar, take it slow, take it easy. Don't need to sprint back to the wedge, stabilize yourself, slow controlled steps. So do everything that we've just spoke about, set yourself, pop under, level yourself, and then slowly step back to the wedge. Nice.
Okay, here goes nothing, folks.
Nice, so head under, check your alignment, good, squeeze your shoulder blades together, that's it, and stand. Flick the wrists forward, nice and slow, good, and then look at your feet, that's it, good. Use the mirror, and from there, remember the cue, squat between your legs, screw your feet into the ground, and then do your squat. Perfect, brilliant, and back up, do a couple more, or you can rack it, that's fine, no rack it's fine, go for it. That's it. Forward, 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 that's it. And guys, that is a key. When you first start squatting, if you take a step back, just so I can demonstrate what not to do, is going under, doing everything perfect, finishing your set. Now your legs are fatigued, and you try and land one in there, and the other one you miss. That's when trouble starts, so walk it into the bar, and then go down. And if you do that, you won't miss the racks. But yeah, really good squat, you should be proud of that.
Thanks, first ever.
Nice.
I'm still alive.
Yeah. All right, so we're on to the next compound movement, which is the deadlift. So a lot of people fear the deadlift for their lower back, rightfully and wrongly so. There is a lot of evidence to show that spinal flexion now in a deadlift's not the end of the world. But if you're a beginner, especially if you, I would say try and get it spot on from the start. So your spine can flex, our spines are made to flex, believe it or not. And physios aren't always the movement police, although in some cases we have to be, so that's why we get the term movement police, trying to make sure everyone's form's right. What I'd like you to do firstly, get yourself a comfortable stance, walk your shins up to the bar, and hold your hands out there. And all I want you to do is reach down, grab onto the bar and lift it back up again. And then put it down slowly. However just do it. Bend down, pick the bar up and lift it up.
This looks impressive, but it's actually only 5 kilos on each side, guys, so.
Yeah, and a 15 kilo junior bar, and put it down again. So, looking at that, I'll bring it around to the side in a second and show you guys. Yeah, I don't really need to coach much there. That's spot on. Nice, well done.
Can I do another one?
Yeah, but let me move the camera. Right, so the invisible cameraman has just moved you guys to side on. Now do the same thing, walk up to the bar, grab it and pick it up. So a nice cue for this is to get your shins close to the bar. If we think about torque forces and pick it up, perfect, and go slowly down. Good. So you see, spine quite good position, not overly concerned. The things to look out for if we just swap places, and let me show you people the signs that we look out for. If you get into that nice position there, now you can do a sumo deadlift, but you saw my mom's natural movement was non-sumo, so we'll stick with that. But if sumo is more comfortable, then obviously do your sumo. Things we want to not do is straighten the legs and then hoik it up like that, because that's pretty much a Jefferson curl, which is fine if you're training for a Jefferson curl, but for a deadlift we don't want to do that. And a nice cue is to get the bar nice and close to your shins. Basically, if we think about torque forces on the spine, if we in close, sat up there, and we stand, we get a nice movement. However, if we let the bar drift forward, we got a lot of load on our lower backs, and then we're trying to hoik it up from there. So if it scrapes your shins, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, the way you did there, spot on, no coaching required. Makes my job easier.
Question.
Yes, go for it.
What is a sumo deadlift?
So sumo deadlift, oh, I'm gonna get roasted for this one, but anyway, sumo deadlift, wide stance, grabbing on the inside, and from there, lifting it up, and then popping it back down. Now, you guys know, and I'm sure you'll find out, there's a lot of hate going around for sumo deadlifts. I think it was C-Bomb who said it's cheating, but it's absolutely not. Sumo deadlifts and conventional deadlifts are based around your anatomy. When I go really heavy, I find a sumo deadlift a lot easier, but not everyone's like that. So again, long femurs, quite tall, probably going to prefer a sumo deadlift. Short femurs, maybe longer tibias, are more likely,
Vertically challenged?
yeah, are more likely to do a normal deadlift and to get better responses. Trust me, if sumo deadlift was a cheat code, when you watch Olympic lifting, powerlifting, or even just any form of powerlifting, you're going to see people sumoing, and when you watch it, no one sumos, or they are a few, but fewer sumo than conventional, so definitely not a cheat code. All right, so next up we've got the lunge. Now, you can do lunges, especially if you're a beginner and you do your strength testing. There's other ways than dynamometers. You can do 1 rep max, see how many you can get, or not 1 rep, sorry. If you do 10 rep max on your strong side, see how many you get with your weak. If it's close, happy days. If it's miles off, then we know we need to do more unilateral or single side training, so that's where the lunge comes into it. Now, what I'd like you to do is actually step back lunges. So my mum's got knee pain on her right side.
The right side.
So if we think about the lunge as a movement, if we do a step forward movement, we're putting a lot of force over the anterior knee, but if we're doing a step back movement, we're putting less force through the front of the knee. So we'll start off with step back lunges in this case. So basically stand forward just on the front, perfect. And what I'd like you to do there, try not to hold your hands behind your back unless you want to fall over, is take it nice and slow, start the bend, reach back, lunge down, and come back up. So don't think, yeah, perfect. And back up. So a bit bigger of a step. You felt quite narrow there, didn't you? So
I did.
Bit further back. That's it. And then do it on the other side.
Whoa, falling over.
Balance will come into it, but also this is a soft floor, so more likely standing on a pillow, aka sketches. All right.
I'm definitely going to fall over on this side, guys. Let's try that one again.
That's fine, keep going. Good.
I didn't fall over. It was terrible, but I didn't fall over.
Yeah, you got a bit of knee instability there, but that's something we can fix with bands, but I don't think we'll need any pain on that movement.
No,
so that's
pain
fine.
Whatsoever.
Then we don't need to worry too much about it.
Okay,
now you
try
can
that again.
Yeah, you can try that again. I want to give you a couple of pointers. So
Okay.
think about your upper torso, so from your hips to your shoulders, and think about your shin. What I'd like to see is your shin angle match your torso angle. So if your shin angle's forward, I don't want you leaning back, and vice versa. If your shin angle's upright, I don't want you leaning forward. So you'll do it fairly close naturally, but give it a try.
Clear as mud.
You'll see.
Okay,
And also 70 to 80% of your weight on your front leg.
on the front. Right, there I go. Okay.
Good, so step back, weight forward. See your heel lifting up?
Yep.
So step further back. That's it, ankle mobility taken out. Good. Other side,
I didn't fall.
other side. So you see you got a very forward shin and a very upright torso. So we've got shin, torso, we want those to match. Better glute engagement, so torso forward, you're very upright. So if I over exaggerate that, your shin's going there and your body's there. So bring your chest forward, stick your bum back. That's better, perfect.
That's easier as well.
It is, it's a lot easier. When your glutes work, they're really powerful. They might not be bigger than the quads, but they definitely should be stronger, which yours aren't, so we know we need to get them working. Perfect, brilliant. Then I would say for you, it's not so great going straight onto the bar, just because we're worried about balance. So if you're holding onto a weighted bar and you go there and you start going all over the shop, quite hard to stop yourself from, well, eating the floor. So we don't want to do that. I would just say, what weights have we got? Well, 7.5 kilo. We've got 10 somewhere in here, but grab onto those, one in each hand, hold on tight, you got them. And hold them by your side, straight arms, that's it, and now do your lunge. Torso and shin, torso and shin.
Torso and shin.
Better. Wobbly, you see with weights,
Wobbly.
you can correct. With bar, you'll eat the turf. Right, so keep going. Not bad. So try. Too heavy?
Well, no, I ended up with my knee on the floor.
That's fine, knee on the floor is fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah, to start with.
I've been trying to not do that.
No, it's fine. Ideally, a light touch to the floor is fine. We don't want to balance.
Oh, it's just a light touch.
If you have to catch yourself and stabilize there and you're worried about falling, just drop the weights and stand up. So with a lunge, if you fail, you're on the floor, you can't really fall much further, drop the weights and stand up.
Believe me, I can fall further.
I just want to give you another cue for that. This is quite a long cut actually.
Yeah, it's fine, okay.
When you stand up, you're pushing backwards and then up.
Right.
What I'd like you to do is push up.
Forwards and then up.
Forwards and up.
All right.
So step back.
Okay, step back.
Push forwards and up.
Like that.
That's it.
Push forwards and up.
That's better.
And
now
do the other side.
And then slowly back. Good, and forwards and up. Nice, and relax. So reviewing mother's lunge, there's a couple things that I really want to drill into you. And the first is that I don't want your weight on the back foot. So we want the working leg to be working. So when you go back into a lunge and you're up there and then you lunge down, you've got a lot of weight on the back foot. What I'd like you to think of is doing, I'll do it on my weak side, is a lunge with foot up in the air. So lunging down and coming back up. Obviously you won't be able to do that when you start, but if you start bending your knee while your foot's on the way back and in the air, you'll get more weight on the front, light touch at the back, and then lift up and stand. So down and up. If you can start and finish the movement with the other leg in the air, you'll be much better off. So give that a try. Better. Push through the heel a bit. And up. Better. And there's shin angle, torso angle, spot on. You heard me say push through the heel. And that's because I saw her heel lifting off. Ideally, you'd make 3 points on the bottom of your foot. Base of your big toe, base of your baby toe, and base of your heel as a triangle, and try and put even pressure through all 3 of those points. But don't worry about that, that'll come. Nice. Brilliant, so what we've done today, we focused on 3 movements. So that's what I give my patients, because people can only really focus on 3 things at a time. So we'll go with 3 things to work on this week. Now, quick secret, mother has been gymming for, well, she's had 2 sessions in the gym, about to have a 3rd, so 1 week, but I've given her just machines for this week because they take the thinking out of all the movements, and they're great for building strength, but bad for building functional, more stability, balance, and what you actually spoke to me about not too long ago is core engagement. So talk us through what you noticed between the machines and the free weights.
Yeah, so I've had 2 reasonably brief gym sessions, and the big thing that I've noticed with what Peter has taught me today, which is hugely valuable, is it's asking more of me. So I'm engaging more my core. Now, when I talk about the core, I'm not only talking about abdomen, which is not great, but everything that is responsible for balance, the little muscles on either side of your joints, all sorts of things. All of those make up your core, and I think that's where the real value of learning these compound movements is for a beginner like me. So thanks for that. So
close enough. So all those muscles around your joints, they don't make up your core, but they all help with balance. And what you're speaking about, it's not just your abdomen. You've got your transab, your lumbar paraspinals, all of that's around. If you draw a line from your spine all the way around to your spine, that's all your core. But you're dead right in saying all all your stabilizer muscles. You've got your perennials at the ankle. You've got small, tiny muscles in the knee, or mainly one, and it's horrible to get a trigger point on, but we won't go there. But all of those muscles are going to be working to stop you falling over, and it's also going to fatigue your brain more. So it's going to take more mental capacity, which
Don't even go there.
luckily you're not lacking too much in that, fortunately.
You're lucky. That was close.
I'm in slapping range, so I need to be careful. Right, so what we'll do, we'll film at a later stage an upper body one where we'll check upper body strength, and we'll go through the bench press, the shoulder press, the row, the vertical pull, and some straight arm scapular strength. So stay tuned to the channel for that one. Brilliant. Until then, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.